You won't believe this. Stephen A. Smith, he voices his concern for Paul Pierce after his recent antics on the Kevin Garnett show. It was pretty crazy. I'm not even going to replay, what was said because, you never know how it may be taken through the airways. But bottom line is, Paul Pierce has had some series of, things that have happened to him, and it's like keeping him diminished in the public eye. We all know he had the top-notch situation up there with ESPN. He was heavily featured. He had the big antic that took place where he was playing cards and, having a lot of extracurricular activities on the side, and it just drew just a negative attention his way. And now everybody is just coming down on Mr. Paul Pierce. Make sure you subscribe to Flight Sports TV for more updates, news, and more. Now, Stephen A. Smith, took to Paul Pierce, and he has stated basically, his concern for him, he's a champion, he's a Hall of Famer, in many people's eyes, in my eyes he is. People don't want to see Paul Pierce go out like this. We remember him. We got to understand. You look at LeBron, you look at even Kobe, God rest his soul. We had, one could argue Paul Pierce was maybe one of their greatest rivals. They met multiple times in the postseason. So at the end of the day, it's gonna be hard pressed. And the history books. You want the history books to be written behind all of this, just goofing off, joking. He's getting a little older now. I understand retirement, is kicked in. And also, Paul Pierce has stated, Stephen A. has stated how basically Garnett is very serious. He's a serious dude about his business, this, that, and the third. And basically was implying that Paul Pierce just came up there and just embarrassed him, and there's only so much Garnett is going to be able to take of this, and this, that, and the third. Now, I understand Garnett is trying to acquiesce his man, and get him right, because, like I said, he's just been dragged through the mud, through the media. And give credit for Garnett for taking a chance with him, because you rarely see that, because Garnett could put him in and it seemed like they was going up there in terms of changing the perception on him, because they had some decent little episodes that I have seen where they was discussing LaMelo and other young guards and even some of the young crop that's coming into the league now. So to digress to this over a live stream where they think that it was a lot of other things involved that had him kind of inebriated, a little off his mind, and was tripping out a little bit, and it just is embarrassing. I know they on Showtime, so they may not have to follow, what's going on, or maybe like one of these, like a Disney or something like that, because they actually they elaborated more. It's crazy because Stephen A. had touched on something that happened with Brandon Marshall, the I Am Athlete, the situation that he got going on. They had Pierce on there and they brought up that situation. And Pierce had basically stated how in the clause with ESPN, this is like some kind of moral clause. Like once all of those antics took place with all of the whatever he was doing, the ESPN put a full-blown investigation on him, and like I said, it's just completely messed up. I thought we'll see Paul Pierce, the competitor that he is, maybe running the front office, or maybe even coaching, but to see it, like I said, it's not too late for Pierce. Did he break any laws? No, but at the end of it, and that's what Pierce was trying to imply, or some of his remarks, like he's trying to say he didn't break laws, he didn't do this, and that, but at the end of the day, you working with Disney, there's a certain way you got to conduct yourself. And if you, any young people or anybody that's listening, even you ain't gotta work for Disney. You could, you represent a lot of different things, and when you're going out there doing foolish decisions, acting crazy, out of character, just not only is it embarrassing to yourself, But look at who else that's attached to you, that's associated with you. You know, you put a bad negative light on them as well. You know, so that's something that I mean, it's gonna take a long time to understand. Pearson, like I said, maybe he don't get it right now, even at his age. You know, not to say that he's very old, but I mean, he should have already. It seemed like he don't comprehend that. You know, but he may have to learn the hard way. You know, I thought Pierce, a lot of these guys, you think Pierce was at a front row on ESPN. Who knows if he'll ever get back there? But you see a lot of these guys, you know, they go into coaching, you know, go into the front office, things of that nature, you know, or even assistant coaching. You know, you've seen Karan Butler, a lot of players, you know, utilize ESPN, utilize Fox and these networks, you know, to get them to where they need to get to. Maybe Pierce's objective was not, maybe he was getting bored doing that halftime shows and covering the game on ESPN, and, you know, but I think that he could have used this for a great, you know, a vehicle. But he can always go the independent route. I'm pretty sure his networks that'll rock with him at the end of the day. He's Paul Pierce, you know. It's just people want to remember him for something better than this. Let me know your thoughts on some of the recent antics from Pierce. You know, it seemed like things were starting to slow down with him, and out of nowhere, just been reinvigorated. You know, and you know, Pierce is going to receive a lot of negative, you know, attention for this because, believe it or not, Paul Pierce is not one of the very liked superstars for whatever reason. You know, Pierce had a lot of issues with some of the golden boys of the league, you understand? And he beat them down. Maybe sometimes he didn't go according to plan, you know, and Pierce, he took it to him. You think LeBron likes him? You understand? And even the list goes on. Paul Pierce ticked off a lot of people, you know, D Wade and crew. You know, he's not a very liked, you know, player. It's like, it seems like it's a different section of the NBA. You got LeBron and his team, and then you got another sector of people who, you know, don't really like him. You know, and Garnett and them dudes went to rivalries with LeBron. So it ain't gonna be no love lost. But I hate to put LeBron in this, but, you know, it's just like I said, it is what it is. Let me know if y'all understand where I'm coming from. What's your thoughts? Or should we be concerned with Pierce? Is his situation going to spiral out of control? Are we going to have to wait until we hear something worse? Or is this a cry for help? Let me know your thoughts. You know, this is definitely a crazy situation. I seen this situation with Pierce, but I wanted to, I was like, I didn't want to put too much attention on it. You know, I want to just kind of subside itself, because he just got out of a big situation, and, you know, to come back, you know, just so lackadaisical, you know, and which could draw so much negative attention to the network, to Garnett, to everybody. He's got to be more thoughtful. It's Flight Sports TV. You already know what it is. Hit the like button. Most definitely hit the subscribe button.